All right, hello. Welcome to the Tuesday London Open session. And right away, hello, Mohsen Mohammed. And thank you for your appreciation. And I will check that option later on. I wasn't thinking about it, but if you would need it and it's not like an issue for me to do it, then I will. All right. All right. So thanks, and I hope you will stay blessed too. At this moment, I be up to go to the September contract, and I'll be up to do a little bit of spring cleaning here. Yep, that's better. And now, what do we got on the daily chart here? We have this range from this high to this low. That's the current dealing range, trading range that we are inside of. We can measure that. Yeah, so that's the range. It's pretty balanced out. We've taken buy side here and sell side here, and we are dead in the middle. We went to one extreme, second extreme, dead in the middle. Because most recently price tapped into this deep discount in regards to this trading range, and it moved away. We created a swing low in here. I favor a little bit of higher prices. I favor a little bit of upside near term. What would that be? Tuesday high? As a potential draw on liquidity? And Monday high as a potential draw on liquidity, which is previous week's high. So lots of liquidity resting here and here for certain. Now we as I said, we trade to this deep discount of this range. We moved away nicely. We have a swing low placed. So technically we should be more bullish than bearish based on this, but it's not like it's very bullish. It's more like we are inside a larger range. We are at the 50% of it, which is many times iffy, but we have that advantage that we are trading off of a deeper discount of that range, so we can expect some measure of premium like this and this being potentially seeked, right? This is not a guarantee, but definitely there is a potential for that to occur. Hello, don't you, Christian? Welcome. All right, nice relative equal highs. So that Tuesday high has, or the Tuesday high is in form of relative equal highs. That's beautiful. And that Monday high is technically somewhat of a relative equal highs around here, but it's a very obvious sharp high with lots of liquidity above it, right? Before that high, there is the CB. I'm not gonna annotate it now, but it's there, so that, I mean, keep that in mind. All right. Besides that, Price is moving bullishly near term. We had a bullish value gap here. Respected nicely, price traded higher. Consolidation. We moved outside of this consolidation. Now somewhat of a return back lower. We have a 50-minute inefficiency here that I would prefer not to go back to if it's very solid on the upside. We do have a small little bearish for value gap right there, so that's something I will want to watch, because if it's bullish it would need to, or it would just inverse that inefficiency. All right, the ultimate draw on liquidity, or the next draw that I will be looking for ES to reach for is this Tuesday high, and like a final draw for now would be this Monday high as a potential draw on liquidity at this moment. All right, so let's go to MNQ September contract also. All right, a little bit cleaner here, but nonetheless a pretty similar situation with some little detail. All right, so very similar range on Nasdaq, pretty consolidated, looks like it. Nasdaq couldn't quite much go to and or below the deep discount of this range, so it traded to a discount there and crossed 50% here, and we are trading into a premium. As a premium, I like this high, that's a Thursday, June 25th high buy sell liquidity. That's probably very reasonable expectation on the upside. And outside of that, we have pretty much I mean, the smooth buy side up here, but that's a little bit too far for now, I would say. But longer term, keep those relative highs in mind. But it's not like I'm thinking right away that there is this bearish fair value gap that would need to be inversed first. So yeah, I feel like ES has a slightly more range near term, but we'll see how it goes. 15-minute chart. Yeah, we are quite extended nonetheless. The buy sell liquidity resides here for Nasdaq. That's the Thursday's high, but nonetheless recently, I mean since a couple of days, we are inside this larger consolidation range here too, which is making this a little bit more difficult to read. Well, silver bullet starts just right, I mean just now. I do favor, or I did arrive at a slightly bullish stance near term, slightly bullish stance, especially ES. But yeah, Nasdaq also has definitely its potential there in that regard. And yeah, I'll guess we'll see how it goes, or how it will go. Not this MES September contract. yes, looks even slightly stronger here, like near term, short term. And one more time, daily chart. Deep discount, rejected, swing low. We are at this little inefficiency here, but again, my attention is this buy side here and here on the upside. We opened a little bit around below that, and this is kind of like 40 handles or something like that of a range of opportunity, potential range of opportunity. But yeah, let me add this little inefficiency in here for the completeness sake. I will change the color because I would like to see it act as a bullish inversion fair value gap. And the last one thing that I want to add before going into the lower time frames is the let's add this candle's close, like a line in the sand. All right. So that was basically like a Judas here, and now we are purging higher somewhat. Daily inefficiency was traded above slightly, came back to a consecutive encroachment, and now we are rallying higher again. Yes, already trading above this 15-minute bearish fair value gap, which might become a potential bullish inversion fair value gap. Hourly chart. All right, so minor buys it here, and let's watch now what it will present with that idea in mind that it's potentially more bullish than bearish, or technically it should be, according to my analysis so far. And we'll see how it goes. Right away at the open, the first 2-3 minutes formed a bullish inefficiency here on the 1-minute chart for ES. Let me check this double chart for any potential SMTs. or anything like that. Let me see, that's the 1 minute chart Nasdaq and 1 minute chart ES. No, this is both Nasdaq. Wait. All right, now one side Nasdaq, one side ES. All right, the lows are pretty similar though. There is not much going on the side of the lows. Maybe a very small gentle idea here. If you would look or think about the bodies, it's a body laid slightly lower versus here it was not. All right, so we do have a volume imbalance with an order block here. That's something to watch. I'm not sure how I would like to engage with this price action though, accordingly to the draw, potential draw higher. At this particular moment, I'm just not sure. So that's why I rather wait. We do see a measure of SMT on the highs, clearly. ES making a higher high here, showing some relative strength in comparison to Nasdaq, completely not being able to match that high. So yeah, I guess this is something to watch near term. But I'm not as as excited about SMT on the highs while I'm potentially bullish, right? When I'm bullish, I would prefer to see SMT on the lows because that would basically be confirming potential accumulation of longs, basically. Then, and that's way more convenient. We do have a measure of relative equal lows right here, which is pretty smooth, nonetheless. So yeah, potentially taking out that first would maybe set up some opportunity for a long setup. right? Let's see, but that sounds like an idea here. All right. So because currently we are inside of somewhat of a range in here. This is basically going sideways recently, which makes it something that I would just need to wait more and see which side it will go for first and stuff like that. Uh, all right. So seems like Nasdaq should have easier time dropping near term, which could open some gate for a potential SMT on the lows, but ES has also very smooth relative equal lows right here. Taking those out wouldn't be too bad at all if we could uh, offer that type of run. Besides that, I don't really see anything else in the cards currently. All right, so let's watch. Technically, if I'm bullish, I would like to see a measure of a run on sell side liquidity first. Therefore, looking for those relative equal lows to be taken out is something that I'll be very welcome to see. But yeah, obviously, that remains to be seen, as we are just staying inside of a consolidation like this, and we could stay inside of it also, which is kind of like the wild card. Well, let's see. First 15 minutes in, initial trade high. I mean, initially trying to trade higher, failed to maintain above that 15-minute inversion for value gap, failed to ultimately trade outside of the daily inefficiency that I have noted here, and offered a little bit of retracement. We still do have, or we still could perform towards the radical lows because they are very, very smooth and in close proximity, and that's very convenient for them to be engaged before going higher with a more meaningful scale. But I assume that right now it's pretty 50-50. It could go both ways technically, which makes me just want to sit on the sideline in the near term and observe what will be available. All right, trading off of that small little bearish fair value gap on the 1 minute. And let's see if we can get a measure of expansion towards those radical lows from that. Nice large candle to the downside here initially. Let's see if we can take out the short-term low and then seek the radical lows more aggressively. Would be interesting to watch. No, but nonetheless, nice reaction, nice respect of this bearish fair value gap so far. That's I like to see that. I like to see some inefficiencies left open here and here. So far the price action is looking quite promising and not too bad at all, even though this consolidation is there. So let's see if that clean price action can continue. There is a very small little tiny fair value gap right here at 318. Very small, but I like that with this up candle here to act as a potential premium to send us lower towards those radical lows. Next, Nasdaq is also preparing some run in here. Technically, it should be a weaker one, but near term, there are some shenanigans on the lows. Yes, low, lower low, lower low. 3 times. Nasdaq low, higher low already. So there is some shenanigans happening on the lows near term. Not necessarily need to mean a lot right away, but interesting to see that because it wasn't there prior to that much. Good morning, this disciplined trader. Hello, hello. Yeah, that's right. Continuation is usually much easier because the reversal is already in, and yeah, if the range permits, if you know the range, if you know the draw, then that's pretty easy. But I guess reversals are like a matter of experience too. And yeah. Alright, so price traded to that small little fair value gap here and this up candle. So I would like to see it drop from there rather soon. Yikes. Well, I mean, we're slowing down a little bit. Small little SMT divergence on the lows, very near term. Like Nasdaq failed to make lower lows here, while ES was making lower lows altogether here. Both are somewhat of a rallying higher, which is interesting nonetheless. We went above this bearish for value gap here, so let's see if it can act as a bullish inversion for value gap. If I were very aggressive about it, that's potentially like a long idea here that I could have considered, but because of the lows here still intact, I'm less inclined to take that. I mean, even if it works, which it could maybe, because we are still inside this range, because we have still those relatively lows, I don't know, I would feel a little bit, I wouldn't feel as comfortable, I guess, to do that. So it just traded this as inversion so far. Right, trading right to the low of this inversion for value gap here. So this is some level where it needs to react to the upside if it's actually bullish here. A make or break point. Nasdaq looks like it will be attacking the lows, or is very close to do so. But it got a little bit ugly in here too. Alright, last chance reaction was there. So now it would need to rally higher, just this place higher. That would be the expectation. And that's something that we could maybe work with. Then alright, so far the bodies are respecting this little inversion here well, but it needs to run higher off of that. It needs to show some displacement to the upside. All right, so we hit the 3:30 time window for the London Open session. And we spent already enough time inside this inversion for Gap. We respected that with the bodies, so it should see a measure of expansion to the upside then. But at the same time, Nasdaq is looking very wonky and looking like it may want to grab those lows, because that's pretty damn smooth on the lows, which makes it less likely for this to hold if Nasdaq is going to be taking its lows. So yeah, that puts me on hold. Also, unless we are starting to spend a little bit too much time inside of this inefficiency, I don't like that. Right, I'm watching closely because this inversion for gap looks like it might want to fail now. SK Trades and Q, thanks for word of appreciation. I well, my voice, I appreciate it a lot. Thanks. Yeah, we'll see. We are very close. We are technically one good trade away from passing this for phase one of this larger series, and phase one, or the evil itself, for this 50k account, which would take us to the next phase / stage, which might be a little bit more exciting than this, but nonetheless the process will stay the same, exactly the same. The goals will change a little bit, but yeah. All right, surprisingly, this inversion for gap still holds. 2 times the price reacted off of the low of that, so it would really need to run higher if it wants to. But the issue is the Nasdaq is very dirty at this moment. Look what Nasdaq is doing. All of this back and forth price action here, that's problematic. Yes, I mean that's not a bad idea actually, but unless I will be, or I was thinking about using my usual risk. In this case, the max risk I can use, which is $500, and we'll see how I will be able to manage that. I technically don't even need 1 to 2 in this regard, so we'll see how it goes. But first of all, I need to arrive on a solid idea, on a solid framework that I can really trust, and that's something that I'm looking for. Right now, this session here looks a little bit iffy though, which I don't like, and that's why I'm basically skipping to engage that. But nonetheless, watching how it delivers is also pretty interesting to me. But even though ES looks reasonably okay, I would say, on the other hand, Nasdaq looks pretty ugly and pretty messy, and I believe that that would be an issue at some point that will either prevent ES from moving directionally, or it will altogether cause a measure of manipulation within that market, because yeah, Nasdaq is really not performing this long open session at all. So yeah, by the way, going back to the calendar, we do have some medium impact news planned for today at 10 a.m., which technically makes the morning New York AM session morning silver bullet quite of an interesting choice as a go-to idea. So we'll see. Yeah, I mean that's a very good question, my friend. And the risk for the funded account will be reduced versus, or in comparison to this eval phase. So my go-to risk will be basically cut in half. So as in the eval, my max risk was 1%, which is $500. On the actual funded, my max risk will be 250, so 0.5% of the account, and I will be cutting that in half after a loss. So the max risk on funded will be 250, the lower risk will be 125, and I will be using that going forward with the funded, while with the evils I will be using that more aggressive risk with 1% max risk. That's the idea, at least. We'll see how it will go. We'll see how it will deliver for me overall. And yeah, but I think that reduced risk for funded will be very welcome, because yeah, I already had a rather difficult time blowing this account, even with the max risk being 500, which means that if I reduce it even by 50%, then in a long run I should be all right, no matter what. but we'll see. We'll see. All right, so far, yeah, I mean, this looks way out of spec currently. So yeah, I don't think I want to do anything with the markets at this session, due to how they are performing currently. There are some ideas that may unfold eventually. But right now it's pretty tough. Yeah, exactly. That's the idea. If I keep winning, I will stay with the max risk, 250. But if I will take a loss, then I will cut the risk in half to 125 until I secure a win or two, depending on how much of a drawdown I will incur, right? But that's the general idea that I'm planning on doing. And the first goal will be the 1k payout. That will be the first goal of that phase 2 of this series. And yeah, I don't want to hop too much forward on that, but after I can secure that, or if I can secure that, then we'll see some more fireworks, I guess, in terms of the number of accounts, because then I'm planning on expanding to more evils. Yeah, I mean, I'll be trying my best. Unless whatever happens, I'll be very happy about it. The results are secondary, though. The process is most important for me, because if I can like stick to the process altogether, if I can prove, I mean, I guess I have already proven it to some degree that it works, and yeah, I mean, then if I can bring the scale to it, the magic should unfold, or might unfold, because like, think about it. This is my 8 week of doing this, so basically 2 months. 2 months, 13 wins, 16 losses, 1 break even, and I'm up almost 2500. It's not quite there, but let's say for a round number, which is roughly a 5% gain across that period, with a rather small drawdown, max drawdown 2%. But yeah, that's basically how it went. But then multiply that number, that 5%, by 20 accounts. It can be over like 2 months. That's not an issue. But even 2 months, 2500 multiplied by 20, that's a solid number in theory. And that's when the road to million will start actually to make more sense. But yeah, there is a long way until that to be reached and secured. But hey, I'm here for that. Yeah. I mean, that's true. That's good idea. Yeah, so the thing is to not worry about this a single day PNL, a single win or loss, but larger picture, a month, or a week. That's like these are like the results that you can measure more objectively. All right, so currently Nasdaq did made this lower low in here as expected. It reached the sell side liquidity here, while ES pretty much failed to came very close to it, uh, forming potential SMT on the lows, and furthermore forming a potential bullish inversion for value gap right here. That could unlock price to trade higher. God bless you, SKT trades Nasdaq, and I wish you a good luck too. All right, so going into the 350 to 410 macro. So I'm watching closely whether ES will want to make this attempt to run the lows near term, or it will fail altogether and just smash right on through above this 344 CB, which then could act as a bullish inversion, keeping in mind that we would have SMT on the lows with Nasdaq there, still potentially being in a more of a bullish market near term. That would be interesting though, right? Let's see, let's watch. I mean, the lows here can still be utilized and in striking distance. So if it wants that, I would allow for that and then wait for the idea here. But it might just not be in my time. I mean, in time of my operation here. So it's stretching for the relative lows here. That's good. That's fine. And this 344. No, it's 345 and the 310 fair value gap. Both have the potential for being or becoming a potential inversion, bullish inversion in the future, which would be something to watch. It's 350. We already ran the relatively close sell side. So if we could climb back above that, back above those, or even potentially this CB here, that would be somewhat of an idea to use near term. So let's see. Let's give it this 8 more minutes left, and let's watch how it will perform in that regard. So yeah, each of these CBs have the potential of becoming a bullish inversion for value gap as we trade above those. So each of these can act as a stepping stone later on the upside if we can trade above them. All right, so price is stretching higher here quite aggressively. So let's hypothetically see how would that look like if we would, for example, close above this one. The stop loss preferably would be like one tick below this low. That would be like a preferred stop, I believe, within this idea, which in this case would allow me for a way more of a size, around 22 micros on ES, and the take profit would be this buy set here as the initial draw and or target, with the first partial at 50% here. So yeah, I mean, that would have been somewhat of an idea, interesting idea to watch and see and study. So yeah, nonetheless, let's see. We have 5 more minutes left for this long open session silver bullet. Hello, Francis Greens, my friend. I do remember you. I do remember you, and I just felt the nostalgia too. So what a feeling though. And thanks. I think I'm doing all right, and I hope you are also doing very, very well. All right, so looks like 3 minutes left for this time window. I don't know. I don't think that I'm up to enter a trade in the last minute like this. Not that it couldn't work or anything like that, but by the way, first of all, it's not there yet. But second of all, I feel like it might want to require a little bit more time still to develop, which, yeah, I probably just goes outside of my operating hours here for the loan open, which is fine, I guess. It's not like an issue. Like, we still have like 2.5 minutes. Can we close above that and give a return? Maybe. Maybe. Will that happen? I don't know. All right, so it's clearly not giving that yet, which means that maybe it wants to take some more time, which I don't necessarily have right now uh, in regards to my model, because yeah, I gotta be done before the 4 a.m. or until the 4 a.m. It didn't offer me the setup that I was looking for. No problem. I will come back during the New York AM session and I will look for something uh, about that time. So let me cancel this order. I mean, this hypothetical order, because it wasn't even placed. And this is basically the time to wish you a pleasant reminder of the day. Good luck, good trading, and see you guys during the New York AM session 10 to 11. And maybe I will find my bullet there. So kudos to you guys and see you. Bye.